Okay, now on to operation items. I'd like a motion for, is there any C items that need to be separated? I'd like a motion for C1 through 7.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Becker, Mrs. Shaw. Is there any discussion? Ms. Becker?
On C2, quick question. We are approving quotes that were requested to cover student transportation routes on a short-term basis. Obviously, if this is specific to the student situation, it's not anything we can discuss, but I'm just curious why at this point in the year, we would be getting something for a short-term basis. Unless it's, again, specific to that student and we can't.
I would say that on these, we probably had a last-minute specialized transportation situation where we had to provide transportation and for which was not anticipated in advance. And so as a result, the short-term basis comes in because we go out on a quote. It's strictly, the short-term basis simply refers to the fact that we are limited in terms of how long we can contract under quote. So this is a contract under quote. We're going right back out for a formal bid. These routes will come back for a bid award at some point in the
Okay.
not-too-distant future.
I apologize because it says the last sentence will issue a formal bid solicitation, and it just didn't register with me when I read it the first time, but your explanation was complete.
The way transportation works is when we have an unanticipated situation, we have to quote the contract, we issue that contract for that short period of time pending the formal bidding.
bid, right.
Yes.
And again, Bernie, you said it's in the last paragraph, the last sentence, and it didn't register with me when I asked. Question answered, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Don't like to do
Is this on here, is this the ones where there's job descriptions that changed for work, or that's not in C? The change in the bids, that's D items, I think. No, C.
The C items have
Change
the
orders.
change orders.
Right,
Yes.
is it possible for you just to address the two big change orders? Because I'll point out which items they are.
C1.
C1
And C6.
and C6.
Right.
C1. That is,
Bus facility, 58,381.
Yeah.
so, Mr. Giuliano, do you want to, since
Yes.
you've been actively involved in that? would you like to-
Absolutely. And so we had a couple of items. This was related to the site work. And the first part of that change order, 003 for the $8,600, the way the contract was awarded, it was based on an estimated quantity of various components of the project, and that would be reconciled at the end of the project to be up or down to what actual amounts and costs were. So that is what that first portion is related to. It's a reconciliation. The second part, 004, which is the large amount for $49,000 and change, this was in response to what was required by the utility authorities to be done. And this has to do with having to install 2 new sewer laterals which extended from the property out into the street. That was originally not supposed to be done, but the authority, the Water and Sewer Authority, required that that be done, as well as the lining of an existing cast iron sewer tap. So this was in response to what other authorities have required of the district to be performed on that project.
And it was unanticipated before we started that?
Because once the roadway was opened and it was inspected, the authorities came back and said, we would like those items replaced. And that's typically what happens.
And Mr. Giuliano, that was because of the condition, the interior condition of the lateral mains upon their inspection, because the building had sat vacant for so long.
Not so much because the building had sat vacant so long, but mostly because of the age
Okay.
of those utility infrastructures.
All right.
And is there, do we anticipate further difficulties because we're now reducing our contingency balance to zero? When we still have quite a bit of work to be done there?
Well, this strictly relates to the site work, which, for all intents and
Oh,
purposes
okay,
now, is
sure.
complete.
Okay,
Couple of minor things that still need to be done.
all right.
So this should not be an issue for us.
So do we have a separate contingency then for the
For the building
building
work?
itself?
Yes,
Okay,
yes. That is an entirely separate contract.
okay.
And,
And so I'll speak to the other portion. This was a change order, these were two change orders for the high school gymnasium renovations. And this will be, we're gonna see this as a continuing item over the next meeting or two as well, because as I had explained, I believe at the last meeting, and perhaps even the meeting prior to that, the condition of the slab under the wood floor was such that there's much more work involved in making that ready to accept a new maple gym floor. As a matter of fact, there was the entire floor to remove metal straps that were not known in advance. The entire floor had to be manually broken. Those straps had to be manually broken out by laborers. There were aspects of a surface that was over the slab that had to be jackhammered out. There was a lot of prep work to have to get to the point where that slab is actually ready to begin to take a new concrete surface over top and then accept a new floor. So most of this is labor-related, because there have been weeks of teams of people out there to have to make that slab ready to accept the new floor. And all of this really is related to the flooring. We're not seeing any of these change orders at this point related to other aspects of the project. And unless that base is in an appropriate condition, we stand to risk the investment that we're making in the overall improvements of the facility. So these, unfortunately, are necessary.
One of the things I do want to make clear to the public is that if these conditions had been known when the bid specs were put together, if they could have looked under the floor and said, this is the condition we have to deal with, these costs would have been part of the original contract.
Absolutely.
I don't want the public to think that these are additional funds or additional fees that we're paying for something that we're not getting value for. We would have paid for this value in the original contract, but they're showing up now as change orders because now as they peel back the floor and they find these conditions. But Mr. Giuliano and I have talked about in the future about trying to dial this down with future contracts, about making sure that we have as much information as possible. But in these kinds of conditions, whether you have renovations, you will have these change orders.
Mr. Giuliano, do you know if that work has been completed?
It has not been complete. Well, which portion of
Because
the
you're
work?
talking about masonry work, you said jackhammers, and once you begin jackhammering a floor like that, since the cement has an acid base, the dust and the particles that go everywhere are going to be eco-unfriendly to our
Well,
students. So
let me set you at ease. That was already done.
you'll set the public at ease, sir.
It was already done,
It's been done.
yes.
The actual containment, you mean?
The actual
Work.
Jackhammer.
That particular phase
That's
of
correct.
labor is done. Okay.
And we have taken great care, Mr.
Yeah.
McAvoy, to make sure the students don't have access to that part of the facility. They can look through the window.
Yeah, it almost has to be like hazmat sealed off, and I don't know on our visit that we saw it that way. But as long as you are comforting us and the community that everything is safe, that's fine by me.
It is safe.
There, any other C items?
Yes, C5, because I'm one to bring up the change orders. I guess kudos to you, Mr. Giuliani, for saving us 21K.
Well, let me catch up to
Why
where
don't you
you
take
are,
a look
because
at
I'm
that?
happy to take kudos if
Yeah,
they're
take advantage of
appropriate.
that,
Which
yeah.
one was that?
C5?
C5. C5, that is it is a grant that's offered by the
Right.
school insurance group. And because there were some recipients that were no longer qualified to receive money,
Right.
they redistributed the funds, and we were one of the districts
Right.
that.
But you have to know about it, you have to find out about it. These things don't just happen, so your office, as well as Mr. Crutchfeld and all the other people, I congratulate you on that. On C7, where we're going to bring in Advocate again, we brought them in for custodial work and food services work. Now we're looking at maintenance and grounds. I think I asked, but I just, I want it to be said in public that we are not looking to privatize our staff.
We are not looking to privatize our staff. We are, Mr. McAvoy, we are looking to generate the most effective operation possible, and maybe look at how that structure would behave best in the East Brunswick Public Schools organization, so that we can be responsive to the needs of our community, our public, and maintain our facilities year-round at a level that our public and our Board of Education expects them to be at.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
We're good? Okay. Is there any other questions on C items? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you're right, sorry. There was no roll call there, my apologies.
Can you say that again? You're right.
You were right.
Thanks.
Way to go, Brad.
All those opposed
Aye.
and abstentions? We'll move on.